Hello folks, today we are going to look at a handy instrument build using an instrument rack in Ableton and your favorite collection of samples. I have one here recently made for my future bass kicks. I'll just whack in a quick bit of MIDI and let's crank the BPM. Easy on now. And back to this rack. Okay. Within this rack, I have all my favorite samples, and I have mapped each of those samples to a different keychain, chain list. And I have mapped the chain selector to my first macro and renamed this kick selector such that within context in a tune, I can load this up and whiz through my favorite 128 kicks all within one instrument very quickly without having to go back to the browser, and I can really hear them in context for they're in the mix and they're being triggered by the MIDI data. So how do we build one of these? Firstly, we go to a MIDI channel and into our instruments, instrument rack, and we're going to drop an instrument or a sample here. In our case, it's going to be, let's do one for kicks again. So I'm just going to grab some random ones, kicks. Okay, I like that one. I'm going to show hide the chain list. And this is where all our potential sample choices or our chains will be listed. So let's just grab a bunch. Okay, let's just grab all of these, for example. Chuck them in there. Okay, I have 51 chains, i.e. 51 samples. If I select one and command A, select all, you can see I've got them, and that'll do for this purpose. You can drag in 128, but for brevity's sake, let's just go with this. So I have 51. I'm hovering on the edge until I get that crop marker on the chain selection area, and I'm going to move this up till I have 51 chains selected. Drag this to however many samples you've loaded in, and I'm going to control click or right click and distribute ranges equally. Now, if I scroll down in the chain view, you can see each and every one of those samples has been allocated to a different chain. This one to 2 chains. Okay. What this means is that this bar up here, our chain selector ruler, will now trigger different samples. Let's go to the right MIDI clip. Let's chuck in a 4/4. Bang, bang. Turn this guy off for the moment. Back to our instrument. And so forth. We can fly through our kicks very quickly, hearing them directly in context. Very fast production tool. I'm going to make this a little bit faster. I'm going to go over to my macros, show hide your macros. Now I'm going to right click or control click on this chain selector and map to macro 1. I'm going to right click again, rename, kick select. And let's give it a color. And now in any production, I can drag this in. and go through my favorite samples. Very quick process. Okay, so that is this build. And note that to save this, to use it in other instances, you need to click the save button and it will go into your user library as such and such. I'll just call this one sort of, what should I call it? MUE304 demo kick rack. And for example, if I chuck in kicks, you can see I've got ones built for my future bass kicks, my hip hop kicks, my synth kicks, my techno and house kicks, techno kicks, and that's just for kicks. For snares, there'll be a bunch of hip hop ones in there and various other genres forthcoming. So really quick, handy tool. Um, one of these, multiple of these are suitable submissions for your project too. Consider we are trying to make instruments and tools that speed up our workflow, give us a unique workflow, etc. If this pertains to your process and is of interest to you, happy creating.